and operational constraints that hinder effective service delivery by the NPS. The task force examined critical areas such as terms of service, welfare, mental health issues, housing, performance management, career progression, recruitment, transfers, and other human resource management practices, all which serve to lay the right work environment for the efficient and effective service delivery. These decisive actions, undertaken in quick succession at the onset of the fifth administration, were meant to serve as a catalyst for the police service to deliver its mandate with vigor and commitment, guided by the rule of law and the need to remain citizen responsive. Article 238 and Article 239 of the Constitution places the National Police Service as one of the national security organs of this nation, along with the Kenya Defense Forces and the National Intelligence Service. This security ecosystem sits squarely at the heart of the survival and prosperity of this nation. Ladies and gentlemen, the implication is that these organs, though independent, are expected to function collaboratively and cooperatively. Any weak point in the formation renders the entire national security apparatus ineffective, leaving the country's territorial integrity, its sovereignty, its people, their rights and freedoms, property, peace, prosperity, and all other national interests exposed to internal and external threats. That is why this nation has over the years trained its police service to become one of the best trained in the world with great international recognition. And that is why Kenya was identified to be a country that can contribute to the forces in Haiti in order to bring order in that country. It's because of the kind of training, the kind of officers that we have in this country. And we are proud of the service. So it is in this recognition of this elevated standing of the National Police Service that His Excellency the President, during the recently concluded United Nations General Assembly, proudly announced to the world that Kenya will lead the humanitarian mission in Haiti, where National Police Service officers will serve as the face of the humanitarian mission. Nationally, we celebrate you for the enormous responsibility you have borne over the years of preserving the state and maintaining social order and stability, often working in difficult and dangerous situations and places. Yet you have remained resolute in your service. I commend you for that. The appreciation of the role of the police is evident in the citizens' voices. Whenever they face difficulties, the first reaction is call the police, wherever, whether it's an accident, whether it's theft, whether it is some people fighting. The first thing any person arriving at the scene is to say, call the police. And that is why the age-old dial 999 has become a symbol of help, hope, and relief. So you provide hope to the people, and every citizen in this country knows that the police is the first line of support and protection. So this encapsulates the citizens' expectation of their police service, communicates the trust and confidence they have in your ability to resolve their problems and calm situations, even things that are away from the police jurisdiction. Kenyans still say, where are the police? Call the police, because they trust you people to be the solution givers. And they trust you as people who gives solutions meticulously, precisely, and conclusively. However, despite all this, ladies and gentlemen, your image in the eyes of the public stands as an interesting paradox, where they love you and dread you with equal measure. I believe the love stems from the knowledge that when you seriously put your mind and resources to resolve issues facing the citizens, you do so meticulously and decisively. That is the right side. And that is why every time there is an issue, they say, call the police, because that is what they know, that you can do and you are capable of doing, and they know that the training that you undergone, the solemn promise, and the swearing to be patriotic is what they believe that you can do what you know best. But the feelings of dread, that is fear, must be as a result of the character and actions of those among you who disregard the law and tenets of a civilized society to engage in inhumane and unlawful acts. These few rotten fruits give the entire service its image of dread and fear. Conversely, as much as citizens love the service, they also fear and dread, and sometimes they are very unsure of what will become or what will become of your arrival at the scene. They know that you can make decisions decisively, very, very objectively, fairly, and conclusively. But at the same time, they fear your arrival because some of the very few rotten elements, when they arrive, they bring in terror. Very few elements. And anything negative, ladies and gentlemen, is always blown out of proportions. They catch headlines, people talk about negative things. People don't talk about good things that you do. And therefore, the dread and fear always trends, while the good job that you do always, 95%, is not seen anywhere. So it is on account of these rotten fruits that His Excellency the President has directed me, and so I am directed to meet you today for an open, candid, and solution-oriented conversation on a matter that is causing him great concern. A matter that touches on some of you of your, or some of the character of some few of you, and mostly the moral character, because what happens is that whatever these few elements do, it is not about their training, it is not about their upbringing, but it's a moral character that they have lost direction somewhere. And this sometimes is evident as an individual or as collective, depending on how you approach the scene, and which dictates that we close ranks to jointly fight or find lasting solutions. What I'm trying to say is that, you see, when one or two people mess up, as I said, it trends and it makes the entire situation to look like the entire police service is rotten. And therefore, we need to sit And that is why I'm opening a conversation today to sit and discuss, close ranks, and then we jointly find lasting solutions. I'm saying this because His Excellency the President is determined to ensure that his government is a functioning government, his government is devoid of corruption. He wants to see a government that is respected, a government that is responsive to the needs and the requirements of the people of Kenya and those who are visiting Kenya. So he wants a police service that will be part or contribute to the government to be efficient, effective, a police service that will have a character and form, a police service that will have a tradition and culture, a police service that has self-discipline, a police service that will reprimand those who wants to spoil their name, a police service that will stand firm and show the way of integrity, competence, and the rule of law. That is what His Excellency the President wants all of us to hear this morning and to make a decision and resolve. To ensure that whatever rotten elements within us are decisively dealt with, so that we get a police service that has honor and dignity before the people of this country. So, ladies and gentlemen, what am I talking about? I'm speaking about the corrosive and destructive vice of corruption that has permeated all the sectors of government, not police service alone, across. And that is why Mr. Sia notified you that we have had meetings since March, meetings of internal auditors, meetings of procurement officers across the country, meetings of finance, accounts, meetings of CEOs of all state corporations, chairmen, meetings with institutions, meetings with investigative agencies that are part of you, meetings with Ngao, the entire national government administration officers, right from RCs, right from the PSER down to DCCs. We have met all of them. On one clarion call, let us stop corruption. And that is a message that I'm bringing to you in so many words, but the bottom line is corruption has to stop. We have to fight corruption in our service, and we have to help government to eliminate this corruption in our society. Both as a service, you look inwards and let us fight it. Then as we are moving outward to the society, let us be men and women who will close ranks with the crusaders, those who are driving anti-corruption movement. You become part of the team to ensure that corruption is eliminated in this administration and in this generation. It has been elusive for a long time, ladies and gentlemen, but this time round, I don't think it has where to hide. It may go around hiding itself, but with support of everybody, as a civilian public servants, as uniformed, and mandated by law to deal with it, I'm sure nothing will stop us this time around. This country will be returned to what it is supposed to be, a corrupt, free country, a country that has its public servants as servants that serve the people without demanding bribes and inducement to discharge what is supposed to be their mandate. So, as I said, this corrosive and destructive vice of corruption has a lot of impact, ladies and gentlemen, everywhere. You can go around, you are even better people to be witnesses of what is happening. Stole projects across. In your sub-counties, in your counties, in your area of jurisdiction, you find a lot of stalled projects by other government arms. It's because of corruption. You hear every other time that we have what we call pending bills, where it runs to billions of shillings every year that we have not paid. Tunaruka mwaka na deni. It is because of corruption. You've heard about unfair employment practices everywhere. It's because of corruption. Skill development. One side of a country or a region being more developed than the other because of corruption. Decision making that is corrupted, that is not fair, that is not objective. You've seen a lot of loss of public property, and you know, every other time you are called in to intervene, to enforce a court order, to evict, to cordon and protect a property, even government properties, you get people having audacity of grabbing and selling. Even many police station land across the country were grabbed and sold. Even the houses of OCPDs and county commanders and OCSs. I'm sure you are here and you know you are in rental houses, and yet you had official houses that were grabbed and taken over because of corruption. We've had a lot of tax evasions that we always seek intervention from DCI and many other formation of the service. Corruption. Products coming in, either alcohol, either foodstuffs, even other products across the board, entering the country without tax being paid, without going through KEBS, Kenya Bureau of Standards, which sometimes it even endangers the lives of all of us here. You find things in supermarkets you don't know because of corruption. I have talked about unemployment, which sometimes it has been overrun by corruption. Whereas the few, chosen few, who can manage to pay for them to be employed are employed. What will become of those people who corrupt their way to even be police officers? They will be also corrupt. And the system will continue, and if we are not very careful, we will not have a country in very few years to come. So all these vices, ladies and gentlemen, that has come as a result of corruption, we are here to say we don't have other people to deal with this corruption. It is us. It is not only the president. The president has shown the way. The president has shown commitment. The president has given goodwill. The president has mandated and directed us to deal with it. This is a message I'm giving you, that you are mandated to deal with it, either internally or externally. But what we are saying today is that let us start with internal action. Let us rid the service from corruption by a few elements that can be dealt with and the service will revert back to a service that is respected. So it is on account of these rotten fruits that His Excellency the President has directed me to meet you today, as I told you, for an open, candid, and solution-oriented conversation. And I'm repeating this so that you can really get to know that the President is concerned. So that we really have a conversation and really decide that we are going to resolve to get rid of this problem. His Excellency the President took office with a promise to administer the affairs of this country on the rule of law, upholding the Constitution, through which the people have delegated to him executive power, and which requires that those to whom power has been delegated exercise it to the benefit of the people. All of us, we've been given power kidogo kidogo, but the power that we have been given and the latitude that we've been given to exercise that power has to be to the benefit of the people. Ladies and gentlemen, and I want you people to listen to me, that it is not business as usual. His Excellency the President has resolved that we either fight this corruption together, or those who are not willing to be part of his team to ship out. And he has said many a times, he has repeated in many occasions, and the latest is when the DPP was being sworn in on Monday. That there is no two-way, there is no middle ground. We need to shift to the right side of history and support the President in this agenda of eliminating corruption. But regrettably, the reality in the country is different. Those in the public service, National Police Service included, have failed to manage public resources in a manner that benefits the people, with massive waste, theft, mismanagement, misuse, miscarriage of justice, and unlawful actions being the order of the day. We are Kenyans, and you know all this. There's a lot of waste, there's a lot of theft, there's a lot of mismanagement, there's a lot of misuse, and worst of all, corruption has caused miscarriage of justice. And as an institution in the criminal justice system, ecosystem, you know what it means of miscarriage of justice. It makes people helpless. It makes people ruthless, even in the decision making, and it makes everybody hopeless when, for sure, they know that the police or those people in the criminal justice ecosystem, what to do, are not doing it right. So this state of affairs has steadily eroded the citizens' trust and confidence in their government and its organs, which National Police Service is one of the organs, making them overly critical and cynical of government action. They don't believe, even when you tell them, kuja kesho, or unipatia siku mbili niangalie maneno yako tumfanye investigation. They don't believe. They think that sasa wananidanganya niende tu alafu mkora akuje apeane pesa hapa alafu kesi yangu itapotea. They don't believe. That is why you get people, your customers who are coming to report. They come to you, they go and look for their MP, they go look for the MCA, they look for the village elder, they call another colleague, policeman, friend of yours, or the person who knows. They go everywhere because they don't trust. They are very cynical They don't trust. That is a problem. And for us, here is to say we need to revert back to what we were meant to do, and we need to do exactly what the law demands us to do. And actually, this is what informed the President's proclamation, the war against corruption, and his directive to my office to carry out sensitization sessions with institutions and individuals with a simple message that His Excellency the President will not tolerate corruption in any of its forms across the width and breadth of the public service. That is a message, ladies and gentlemen, that I'm bringing today, that I've brought to many institutions, and today is our day. That we are dispatching the message, and it is good, and I thank the IG and the Ministry for mobilizing all of us so that you can come and receive the message. So I hope the message is arriving. Mumesikia hiyo message? Message imefika, si ndio? So today's meeting is one in a series of many that I have held since March 2023 to bring the President's message of good governance and zero tolerance to corruption. So, Bwana IG and all of us here, let us take this narrative or this statement of good governance and zero tolerance to corruption. Let us go and preach to each and every individual that is not here that this is the season, this is the space, this is the administration that has our one message of good governance and zero tolerance to corruption. And we are dealing with reality, ladies and gentlemen. And let me allow you, may you kindly allow me to enumerate real life cases touching on the National Police Service, which are in the public domain and which have come to my attention through various reports. The first one, as you are aware, is traffic control, traffic department, editing traffic. You know, that is where the police service has been messed up. That is why whenever there is corruption index survey, they say police is number one. Because you can miss. If you skip one block, you can miss a second. Money is exchanging hands. And blatantly so. It is not even hidden. It is obvious. So in these stations, these roadblocks, and in the entire traffic control ecosystem, the greed for money has led to commercialization of the traffic control function and even security checks on our highways, border crossing points, with criminals spying their way through the security checks and security zones. It is true, and you know. So I'm requesting you, as very senior, high ranks of police, to go and deal with it. Let us stop corruption at the roadblocks, traffic control ecosystem. Let it stop. From today, if it has ever been in your area of jurisdiction, let it stop. Let the citizens' lives be comfortable. Those who are innocent, those who are clean, let them move. Criminals, stop them, arrest them, charge them, take them to the prison. Once you take them to court, the court will do the necessary and we eliminate corrupt people. So that is an area that each and every one of us, including the civil society, will tell you the police is corrupt. Perhaps 99% of all of us here are not corrupt. But since it is the face of the police, you can't defend it. To the extent now that you get even overloaded vehicles passing through way bridges, even passing way bridges to the detriment of road infrastructure are common. Though we have had a lot of technology along the way bridges, still we see all these problems. And roadworthy vehicles, they are still passing. One time I was asking somewhere in Nairobi here, there was some funny, those old model vehicles. So when I asked, why are you allowing this vehicle to operate? Nikaambiwa ni ya mkubwa. Nikauliza ni mkubwa gani? Ilikuwa zamani, it was 3 years ago, so I don't want to. Ambia mkubwa gani? Nikaambiwa ni OCBD wakamkunji. Hakuna madirisha, hakuna insurance, miguu imekwisha. It is smoking, it is a northwati, lakini ni anani? Ya mdosi. Corruption. Same traffic and security checks. Stories are abound of local and international smugglers, drug dealers, and terrorists, and all manner of criminals, some on international watch list, being able to enter the country and move around without fear of arrest. Some become untouchable due to the protection money that they dish out. You see, these are reality, and we are asking the 99% of you to rein on the 1% and to make sure that the reason as to why those road checkpoints are, those traffic patrols are, can we go back to what it was meant for and to work and ensure that this government is functioning? As I told you, for this government to function, each and every organ has to function. And one critical organ for a functioning government, and a government that can attract investors, and a government that prospers, is a functioning police service. I want to urge all of us to go and ensure that those few elements in your station, those few elements in your jurisdiction are dealt with immediately and free the traffic control ecosystem free of corruption, to be an area where people will not fear, innocent people will not fear, and to be an area, a space where criminals dread and fear because they know they'll be arrested. The second area that I wanted to speak to, which is a reality, is the issue of our role as the interface with judiciary. Due to your functions under the National Police Service Act in several Cap 84, Section 49 to 65, the Director of Public Prosecutions and the Judiciary depend on the quality of your investigations. As you are aware, when there is compromise at the investigation stage, the entire system is compromised. Cases of the innocent in jail and criminals in the streets are not uncommon. Why? Why do we have innocent people in jail and criminals are roaming freely in the streets with protection? A good percentage of the reason is because of a compromised investigation, compromised submission of those investigation reports. And there are a few elements for your information. If you go to a police station today, you will not be told, meet anybody to help you. You will be told, utaona, jaribu tafuta fulani, na usitafute mtu mwingine, tafuta fulani atakusaidia. Na ukiambiwa yuko, ungoje mpaka afike au uende ile siku atakuwa. Perhaps 1 or 2 people in a whole police station. Perhaps you have 50 policemen, perhaps you have 30, you have perhaps 15, but you get the names that comes out are very few. Perhaps 1 or 2 that people have to meet for their things to be sorted. So I call upon all of us, ladies and gentlemen, let us close ranks and fight this corruption. Let us fight bribery, and let us serve the people of this country in a very honored way. Another area that is very practical is crime in the neighborhoods. Numerous reports have been made about common crimes in the estates, especially in the peri-urban areas, illegal businesses, bars operating beyond hours, illegal electricity connections and water connections, and damage to installations. In all these, police officers have been accused of either laxity or inaction. Very few elements still. And I know sometimes we lack facilities, we lack capacity, perhaps because of vehicles and because of other needed equipment around that will enable you perform better. But do we have to reach a level where the public gives up? I don't think it is. It is right. It is no. We need to do our best. We need to ensure that those neighborhoods around your stations, ladies and gentlemen, can even acknowledge and admit to say that OCS fulani anafanya kazi, lakini kama serikali wangepatia gari moja au waongezee askari ingekuwa afadhali zaidi. That is the story we want to hear as Kenyans. That people are working hard. Had it not been some few things in and there, it could have been better. It will be encouraging, and it will even make the Ministry of Interior to focus on those needs very quickly and sort them out. Another area is the common now issue that is all over. Alcohol and substance abuse. Ladies and gentlemen, these are indicators that I'm mentioning that shows that there's something wrong somewhere that we need to correct. And you will help us because you will sort them out because you are on the ground. You see, this war against substance abuse is really highly compromised. Highly compromised. I don't think we can be defeated by some few elements in your jurisdiction. It's highly, highly compromised. And I'm coming from rural setup, I know. This is highly compromised. There are officers, both police and Ngao officers, who have resorted to imposing alcohol tax, and that is true. On these illicit alcohol brewers and protection fees on drug dealers, it is true. It is true. And we cannot fight on that. Few elements, still few. Because when you look at even those who are brewing, how much are they making? Very little. But since there is one disgruntled or one officer here and there who is picking perhaps 500 shillings every Friday, thinking that it's a lot of money, allowing the entire generation in that area to be destroyed because of 500 shillings or 1,000, because I don't think those your Kali brewers are making any money. Others are driving around, what do you call these other vehicles? Proboxes, full of pombe. And they are crossing, they are passing roadblocks, going around. I have personally tracked them. Because people from the ground, they call us desperately. Huyu amepita hapa, huyu amepita hapa, yule hapo huko, amepita roadblock hapo, ameenda huko. We are saying, please, let us be part of this team that will fight corruption, and all these vices will just disappear on their own. Because this inaction, as you are aware, has even made the president even to assign the duty of spearheading war against alcohol and drug abuse to his deputy. The deputy president of the Republic of Kenya is now spearheading, going around, calling new people, the same people that you would have done your job. It is not right. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we need to go back. We remove corruption around it, and things will be fine. And I know it will be fine from today, because the few elements I know for sure you will deal with them. And you know, even despite the fact that the president himself has even declared and said he does not want to lead a country of drunkards, but a country of workers. We still get drunkards around. Having sources of pombe in those Fitongoji areas, and beyond that, allowing passage of even dangerous, poisonous alcohol across our own security system. I'm asking you, ladies and gentlemen, through the IG here, to work on this issue. Let us not be bribed. Let those officers be bribed to let a whole generation of this country disappear because of alcoholism and drug abuse. The minister, C.S. Kindiki, has been also out waging war against alcohol, being distracted from serious security issues elsewhere. Let us, I ask you to go back to your stations today and work on this problem. This problem, though it looks small, it is a huge problem which is tainting your name. And you know, it is depressing to imagine that the law enforcement service bears the tag of the weak link in the fight against social vices. You see, you are the one that you are being relied on by everybody, the weak, the strong, the poor, the rich, because before you, everybody is equal, because you are the law enforcer. Whether I come with billions, whether somebody comes with nothing, they trust you, especially when you are in uniform, that you will be a true arbiter whenever it comes to issues that causes social ills in society. So let us return back the glory and the trust of the police, so that whenever somebody sees a suspicious vehicle that is likely to be carrying alcohol, or sees a suspicious character selling drugs, or witnesses a scene of rape or murder, let them be people who are ready to come, not people who will fear the police. because they are not sure whether the criminal will be arraigned and jailed or not. That is why people keep off. And majorly, it is because of corruption. Another area, ladies and gentlemen, is the area of recruitment. Recruitment in this country of all disciplined forces has become a problem. And this area has painted the police as a very, very corrupt service. Recruitment, and it is done once in a year. Sometimes when you do, once in 2 years. But since Kenyans are interested to either be policemen or their children to be policemen and women, what happens? When they encounter 1 or 2, 3 corrupt elements, they paint the entire police force or police service as corrupt. And sometimes now, people get so scared that, okay, if this guy who is a policeman here came through corruption, he paid 200,000-300,000, now, how is he going to dispense justice? He'll be busy trying to recoup what he paid when he joined forces, the service. Simply put. So it becomes a very complicated thing. And you know, it is very interesting because, and I was telling, I don't know, I think was it Ngao or somebody, some people, that, and this is a true story. I had gone to upcountry home. Then on a Sunday, I said, let me go to church, my local church. I walked to church. So those who go to church, see, almost all of us go to church, isn't it? Sikuko na kuanzia, alafu mahubiri, si ndio? Alafu matangazo, si ndio? So during matangazo, then they always announce bans of marriage, Kamalisa. They announce the development of the church, they want some money, Kamalisa. They announce that there are meetings in other regions of the church, Kamalisa. Then, as the secretary was going to sit, there's another Museu who put his hand up. Sema, niko na matangazo. So he was told, come. My villager, it is not far. I think it was 3 years ago, 4 years ago. He said, I wanted to announce to you that the recruitment, I don't want to say which security formation, that is coming. It is next. It was actually about a month or 2. It is coming. They have announced. Now, anybody who has a child, mtu yeyote yule ako na mtoto, muanze muuze mashamba. Nimesikia ni 1,300. Actually, I think it was about 75 years. Somebody I know, and I was there. It is not a story. It is a fact. He did the announcement in church that nimesikia ni 1,300, sio 200 kama mwaka jana, ni 300. Na mnajua ya kwamba kuuza shamba ni tabu, muanze saa hii. Alafu akasema asanteni sana na akakaa chini. This is a fact, ladies and gentlemen. So even the most recent, when the survey was done, the average to be recruited in some fields, some stations, was 600,000. And truly, parents sold shambas. And I was always doubting that it is not true. But I realized that if somebody sells a shamba, truly the child will be recruited. If you don't sell, if you go and run around, and you know where I come from, people are serious runners. I mean, they are international. Where Kipchoge and the rest are coming from. They become number 1, but they will never if they don't have money. So you can see. This one sold the shamba, And who are the buyers of the shambas anyway? It is us who are working in Nairobi. Isn't it so? It is us. You buy a shamba, unapata mtoto kweli alienda police au alienda jeshi. Yule hakuuza na alikuwa number 1 kwa uwanja, anafanya nini? Anakosa kwenda. So people sell shambas, they sell their cows, they sell their assets. Which begs the question, what kind of officers will these recruits become on graduation? Really? Will they not feel the need to recoup their initial investment? As I said, obviously they will do. And they will be shameless. They will not even feel. If somebody brings in 1,000 shillings for him to get a favor, he will do because he also did. Please, this area of recruitment, it has to have a stop, and we need to stop it. And if you can remember, for those who have been in service for a long time, in 2008, the report on Justice, Justice and Reconciliation Commission report of 2008. By then, if you were to end a police service, then it was 60,000, 208. But 2021, it was 600,000. 10 times. So, even when we are here, I know most of us, because we are very senior, we were hard around that time, 208, 207, 209, 205. Sasa kama utilipa, sisaidia sisi. Komesha wale wanajaribu. Komesha hiyo maneno. And I know they know the truth. And some truly will confess, if they want, that they have recouped their investment. Because they started for free. So what we are saying is recruitment has to be clean. Let every Kenyan has an equal chance. Let it be devoid of corruption, bribery, and those funny things. In the same recruitment, one young man who did not get, I think it was 2020, he came crying to me saying, "Sasa nimekosa, tafutia mimi a state." So by then I was a commissioner of JSC. Tafutia mimi a state. Nikamwambia sijawahi kusikia state. Nikamwambia kwa nini ukupata? And I know you are a good runner. You are even gone abroad. He said, he ran around, I think it was number 3 or number 4. They came, I understand, I have never gone to the recruitment center, that you line them up to lie. Wametoa nguo, wametoa viatu, wanalala line moja. And then there was one of the officers, anaenda tu, anapitia huko. So, akisema, amuka, kimbia huko. Uwe wako sawa. I told him how. Akasema, hapa kwa mguu, unaandikanga ile pesa uko nayo. So somebody writes 300,000, somebody writes 400, somebody writes, and puts a number to call. So he said, he did not know, so, and he didn't have money, so he didn't write anything. So I'm emphasizing this because that is an area where it has even spoiled the image of our police service. Let us stop it. Let us make our police service the police service that we know, the police service that we love and we cherish. So, another area that I wanted to mention, ladies and gentlemen, so that I can hasten to finish, is your own private life. No too much private. I'm talking about your even lifestyle, how you operate. You see, to paraphrase, all of us here have to somehow take some loans. Si ni kweli? You want to buy a shamba, you want to buy a car, you want your child to go to university, sometimes you want to take them to go abroad, you either go to your SACCO, you go to your bank, you do top up, you borrow friends. Sinkweli. But you see, majority of us have overborrowed. The payslip in the choker. It cannot sustain. And that is against the Public Officers Code of Conduct and Ethics, which states that a public officer shall live within their means and avoid incurring any financial liability that he cannot satisfy. Payslip in measure. The statistics show, which is a reality, and I want you people to confirm, that 86% of us have overborrowed. And it is something that we need to correct so that we can live comfortably, we can fend for ourselves, and we can run our own affairs comfortably without having stress and strain. No wonder we are getting a lot of mental challenges. We are getting a lot of people sliding to corruption because of the stress of the resources that we have. I beg of you, all of you, I beg of you, I ask you, please, let us correct, let us work very hard to operate within our means. And it is not police service alone, the entire public service. Our financial institutions, you know and I know, there are certain organs of government that they don't question. Unapeleka payslip, unapewa pesa sahihi. Si kweli? They even call you and say you qualify for top up. They call. Teachers, police, nani. Let us try to work very hard to ensure that we manage the lifestyle, and we manage whatever money we are getting. The government is working very hard. That is why we have reforms. We are looking at salaries. We are looking at welfare. We are looking at all those. But as we are doing that, let us also stand forth and resist overcommitments so that we have a good standing and people who can make a decision, because you know, hujakula kitu ya mtu na pesa yako ni kidogo, lakini utafanya vile kiwango ile pesa yako inaruhusu. That is the request that I'm making, so that all of us, I'm not saying one person, even myself, I have to control my payslip. People run around following me everywhere. Oh, iko mzirikapi, kuja, iko top up, iko nini, there is another shamba, show Kimau, wapi. Unapewa fure, lipa tu 5,000, alafu utalipa pole pole. Anybody in government, because they know the jobs are secure. So, as we are telling others, we are also requesting you to be on the watch out. Then, the people that we are supposed to serve, ladies and gentlemen, they have complaints. The people, the citizens, mwananchi, are reporting of unwarranted harassment. They also complain about wrongful detention. They also complain sometimes about physical harm and brutality, as well as inaction or non-response to their calls for help. That is an area that we need to look at. That is an area that may not necessarily be because of corruption. It may, it may not. But can we correct that side? so that we stay true to the calling that we heeded when we were called. Because I believe police, teachers, doctors is not a job you go and make money. It is a calling. Mungu alikugusa na ukaenda hii kazi. Can we stay true to the calling? Another area that has also come to my office is ni store ya kila kitu. Kama ni wapi, kama ni port, kama ni police, kama ni wapi. Mimi napata mabarua. I have received. And the complaint that I have gotten, Bwana IG and the chairman of National Police Service Commission, which I have reached my office, which is a malpractice, is a selection process of promotions. The posting and transfers, I don't know whether you call it elite or elite training opportunities. Secondments. Transfers and deployments. Those are the complaints that I receive. Somebody writes and says, I'm so and so. I have been removed from here to there because somebody who has been brought here is a cousin or is a brother of so and so. It was unfair. People always stay for 3 years, but me, I've stayed for 7 months. Lakini niliambiwa kwa sababu you are not behaving, sasa lazima utoke hapo. Those are the areas that I've seen. It's also corruption, because if you sit in your office and start transferring people randomly, there is no procedure, you don't follow the codes of whatever, there is no human resource manual, there is nothing. It breeds corruption, it breeds people watachoka because they will not even work. So that is an area that we need to look at. And they always write and say, to be a police, to go to those days, to go to what do you call this? Way bridges. And some areas that you know, you have to pay dearly because uko ni sawa. They call it wet area, ni mzuri. Wet area iko sawa. Na ukicheza huko, unapelekwa mahali, wanasemanga sugar cane iko dry, where the sugar cane is very dry. Unavaa uniform, boots, unapiga patrol. These are the things that come to my office. But the senior ranks of police service, I'm telling you, it is corruption. Because why should you use discretion to sort of almost harming somebody, disorganizing somebody's family, uprooting somebody innocently? Crooks have to be uprooted, of course, without notice. So those are things that also happen. So this happens despite the issue where the Constitution says that there should be impartiality, objectivity, and fair administrative action. Yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, I was with Commission of Administration of Justice, and we have agreed to partner. Maladministration we will not accept. Across public service, we want fairness across, from bosses, from juniors, bosses to juniors, juniors also to who. We want fairness. We want everybody to be comfortable where they are. Ladies and gentlemen, internationally, Kenya is increasingly being viewed as a corrupt country because of the few public officers who have dropped all sense of dignity and patriotism and decided to use public office for self-enrichment. In doing so, they are destroying the image of the country. And I'm sure you know the Transparency International Corruption Index, where last year Kenya was scored 32 points out of 100. 2021 it was number 30 out of 100. The more marks you are, the more corruptive you are. The more down you are, the more corrupt you are. So 30 is terrible. There are other 70 points that they treat us as corrupt people. So this has made us to be number 123 out of 180 countries. And they say we are the 57th most corrupt country globally. Are we really serious? Should we continue sitting there and being rated to be number 57 in the world? Let us do our part. As police service, do your part. As immigration, let them do their part. As office of the president, let them do their part. Let each and everybody do their part so that next time we are rated like Netherlands, like Poland, Switzerland, like Finland and the rest, where they have been declared corrupt-free. You must have read also the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission's report. And they are putting the service to be number 1, 82%, followed by immigration, registration of people, 25%, lands, 17%, devolution, 7%. Are we really supposed to be there? Can we go and do something? Let us go and do something. We have to do something. And the president says, we must do something. We must do something. And they say bribery, not police service alone, across the country. The average bribe range is between 1,000 shillings and 15,000 shillings. And for police, EACC reported and said, if you are seeking a P3 form, I don't know whether you give out P3, I don't know. An average across the country is 15,000. If you want to bail an arrested person, you pay an average of 13,000. If you are seeking police abstract, you pay an average of 12,000. If you want to release an impounded goods, you pay an average of 10,000. When you are following up a case, you pay an average of 10,000. If you are seeking police protection, you pay an average of 5,000. So, if you are reporting a crime and writing a statement, you have to part with at least 2,000. Average of 2,000. Meaning there are some that are 0, there are some that are 5,000, but the average is 2,000. These are statistics, they are published. I hope the EACC rep is here to come and corroborate. So as the PS was saying here, now it becomes very difficult to know now how are we going to do this thing. Because if now a patriotic citizen comes to report a crime to a police officer, the police officer demands a bribe. The citizen pays. See, both of them are criminals now. Ukitoa, kuongana ni crime. Ukichukua ni crime. So we become all of us criminals. So who will help who? We become a fraternity of criminals chasing a criminal. We need to work on it and make sure that let the criminals be known that they are criminals and let them not taint the name of the police service. And we cannot continue this way and hope to become a prosperous country. Let me ask you again and repeat that the president has pronounced a ruthless war against corruption. The president is leading this war personally with boldness and resolve. There will be no protection for officers involved in corruption. Nobody. Neither will there be a place to hide or sacred cows. Accountability will be down to the individual level. As we speak now here, we cannot be saying, for example, a service is corrupt, and then we start hanging the IG. No. It is not going to be like that. It is going down to the individual. We cannot generalize. We do not generalize. If you are in a station, this war against corruption will pursue until we get the person. And that is why we request you and we are asking you to be part of those who are pursuing, so that we fight the individuals who are corrupt. We don't want to make every institution to be generalized like corrupt. We know institutions are not corrupt. Individuals are corrupt, and they are few. So the IG will not carry the burden, the DCI will not carry the burden, the regional police commander will not carry the burden, but the individual will carry. If you are an OCS and you are perpetrating corruption, ni wewe. Kama ni wewe regional commander, ni wewe. Kama ni wewe ni constable, ni wewe. Kama ni traffic, whatever, ni wewe. Not generalizing. And we are saying, let us break them down, because we are pursuing now to individual level. So we are asking all of you, because you are senior ranks in police service, to do the same. Pursue to the last person. Let us get rid of criminals, corrupt people in our service who have messed up our name, and let it be done now. Let it not be another day. Let us start now and make this service a service that will be respected. And I'm saying this, and I've repeated severally, it is not like the president is issuing general condemnation. We know there are very few elements. And that is why we are calling upon you to join the war against corruption. And as a first step to eliminate the vice from the service. That is the first step. First stop from your station. Then you go next until we clear. So you represent the first line of defense in this war. And we are asking you, let us all be in this team of men and women who will be the first line of defense when it comes to corruption. Let us fight this thing. And let us fight to its logical conclusion. And the president is confident that you have the capability, and we know that you have been highly trained to overcome the challenges in the police service, to assist, sustain, and win the war against corruption across the public service. You fight yours, you help us fight across the public service, so that the restoration of your independence in terms of your budgets and management of the human resources will be a testament to this. We have made you independent. We have made you autonomous. Be part of this team to fight it, starting from yourselves. And you need to know that budgetary independence always comes with responsibility. You will be accountable for utilization of the resources. And to avoid challenges, it is important that you put in place adequate and effective internal control and risk management frameworks to secure the resources and adhere to the principles contained in the Public Finance Management Act. And this is the decision that was made by His Excellency the President, that the police has to be autonomous. And it was not only finances. We have asked your leadership to look through the National Police Service Commission and the IG office to ensure that we have a true autonomy, not, ticking a box. In terms of personnel, how are you? You need to make sure that you have qualified, adequate personnel that can serve the service properly. You need to ensure that you get the resources, protect the resources, use it prudently, so that the meaning of being autonomous will go hand in hand with responsibility we need to ensure that the officers who before were from public service, a decision has to be made. If you want to absorb them, you absorb them to be members of National Police Service Commission. Those who need to come back, let them go where the employer is. So we want National Police Service to be strengthened in all spheres. Human capital, resources, even equipment capabilities, we have to make sure that you are functioning and you are capable. But in return, we expect you also to behave responsibly. We expect you to fight corruption. We expect you to be very prudent in handling the resources, limited resources from taxpayers' money. That is what we expect you to do. And you'll be told, this financial year, ladies and gentlemen, we have started a campaign dubbed Zero Fault Audit. We know the police service has a lot of audit queries. But we are saying this year, first of all, we have said by 2nd October. Is it 2nd October? 2nd October, all the previous audit queries that you had, I'm talking about now, I'm talking to administrators in police service. You need to clear them. All of them, from last year to independence. Clear all of them. All of them. We don't want to see any fault. If there is an issue, explain. Convince the Auditor General. But going forward, we don't want to see any qualified accounts, any qualified financial statements. Zero fault. Zero. So, I really ask National Police Service Commission to give capacity to National Police Service when it comes to professional personnel. Let National Police Service to have qualified accountants, qualified finance officers. Let them have enough auditors. Let them have qualified procurement officers. Let them have qualified human resource officers. Let them have properly trained administration officers, transport officers, to ensure that we get zero fault. You will not get zero fault if you don't have capability to get zero fault. And what we have decided, ladies and gentlemen, and that's the directive from the President, that whoever is causing qualification of financial statements and accounts will not be the same person who will defend at the ministry or from the ministry to parliament. Whoever is messing us up will go and then waja to pambane to defend yeye kama ametoka, alafu next time we will not get any fault. So these are now reforms agenda that we have put in place for all of us to move as one. Zero fault audit. So all audit reports across government will be zero, will have no fault. So let us take that on seriously. And we know for sure, if we do that, we will not get these corruption issues. We will nip it in the bud because we will see it. If it's a forgery, we will get to know. If it is issues of interest that I understand majority of the people, they carry interest, they don't return, they come and take another one, they don't return. Hizo vitu lazima ishi so that tutoe corruption once and for all. So let us make this meeting to be the turning point for the service. And let it be the moment of truth to take the service back to factory settings. Factory settings is what you are meant to be and how you are supposed to work. And then reclaim that coveted and elevated position you once occupied the years gone by, when you were proudly likened to the Scotland Yard. You are majority of you. It has eliminated the name. It is possible to develop an attractive, authentic, and true brand for yourselves. You've done before, you are doing. There are so many stations that are top. There are so many areas, regions, districts, those who are headed by OCBDs. There are so many county police formation that are the best. We can do it. Let us make it be across the country without any reservation and without any exception. And the foundation is already in place, ladies and gentlemen. We have good officers. We have good managers. We have good commanders. Let us make us work as a capable and competent service. So, as I conclude, let me reiterate about 2 or 3 issues that makes the intention of my engagement with you today. There are 3. One is to seek. I'm seeking on behalf of the President, and I hope, and I'm almost confident that I've secured your commitment and partnership in the war against graft. That is my belief. I hope it is so. Is it so? I am here to seek and secure your commitment and partnership in the war against graft. Underline the word seek, underline the word secure, so we are stretching our hand. Hold the hand and let us move to fight against this corruption. And let us start from the service itself. Secondly, I am here today to deliver the President's message on zero tolerance to corruption and also his confidence and appreciation of the National Police Service in national development. You are doing a great job. We are here today because of you, men and women, that have secured the country. There are countries that they cannot hold meetings like this. We want to thank you for that. I'm also here today to build a critical mass of patriotic, ethical, professional, and committed public servants to serve as a force for good, for good and guide the few rotten elements so as to revert them to public service. I'm saying I'm in the journey, as I told you, of building a very critical mass of patriotic, ethical, professional, and committed public servants to serve as a force in this war against corruption. And for us to do that, I want you to close your ranks and go back to our stations and guide those few rotten elements so as to revert or make them revert to the public service that is guided by integrity and the rule of law. I hope we are together in that. I also encourage you to keep, as you are aware, Article 10 and Article 232 of the Constitution, as well as Section 49(10) of the National Police Service Act in sight as you perform your duties. They require of you fidelity to the law, accountability, integrity, professionalism, efficiency, effectiveness, and economic use of resources. Nothing more, nothing less. It is in the Constitution and it is in the law. Similarly, keep Section 49, subsection 13 of the National Police Service Act in sight. It criminalizes abuse of powers vested in police officers by the law. If the powers are exercised well, you have unmatched capability to become impactful agents of social and ethical change. As you go back to your stations, ladies and gentlemen, I encourage you to develop action plans. So go and develop action plans for elimination of corruption in your formation. I'm sure the IG and the top leadership of the service will guide you on how to standardize the development of action plans for elimination of corruption in your formations. The action plans should be consolidated into the National Police Service Corruption Prevention Plan. So, bottom up, start from bottom, let it converge, and perhaps in 3 months, we have a National Police Service Corruption Prevention Plan that will dovetail with other plans and perhaps the standing operating procedures and the rest that you have, standing orders that you have from time to time. We expect to have that plan so that we become people who know where they are beginning and where they are ending. We have to fight this war in a very coherent way, in a very calculated way, in a very conscious and intentional manner. Let us not talk about it alone. Let us talk about it and act against it. And I assure you that the government remains alive to the reality that the police officers work long hours, we know, and endure harsh conditions to protect the citizens, their property and investments. We are alive to that. We know the challenges. The PS here always moves from office to office, pushing for either equipping you, for either ensuring that you don't miss allowances, ensuring that you get vehicles. These things are alive to all of us, to PS here, to the minister, and to His Excellency the President. But as we are doing that, we need to act on these vices that are bringing our name into disrepute, that even makes the citizens question whether their taxes that they are paying are being utilized properly or not. The government also recognizes the immense governance demands placed upon you. We recognize, which can be exceedingly overwhelming. You bear the weight of our society's problems, and it's possible that at times your dedication and sacrifice may go unnoticed amid the spotlight that it casts upon the actions of the few in the police force who engage in misconduct. So you get some few, you are under a lot of pressure, working sometimes under very difficult circumstances. Nobody is grateful, nobody gives you a compliment, and the worst part of it is that one or two elements comes now to destroy the good thing that you are doing. We are aware of that, ladies and gentlemen, but we need to stand forth, and as I say, this is a calling. Let us stand together and fight this thing. And that is why the government is committed to the reforms going on in the service to make your terms and conditions of service better and to ensure you have the physical, mental, and emotional comfort to work without distraction. We are committed. Let me end, ladies and gentlemen, at this point, to say that today is 29th. Is it 29th or 30th? 29th of September. This is the turning point for all of us when it comes to war against corruption, when it comes to service delivery to the people. Let us go back. Let us make what we have discussed here simple. Let us simplify. Let us implement in a very simple way. Let us not complicate. Let us not go and draw down how difficult it is. Number one, we don't have vehicles. Number two, we don't have money. Number three, we don't have fuel. Number four, I don't have adequate staff. Number five, I don't have this. Number six, I don't have enough firepower. I don't have this. I don't have the other one. Let us go and start with the positive. That we are going to have a meeting. We are going to sensitize ourselves. We are going to identify the rotten ones. We are going to separate the chaff from the wheat. We are going to have a plan on how to check ourselves. We are going to revert back to what we are called to do. We are going to read the Constitution. We are going to read the law. We are going to revert back to what we were meant to do. We have to understand the law. We have to, all this, we have to be very, very, very receptive to the people. Let us start with that one, so that the difficult ones are the ones that can be escalated to the PS and the minister. And they will come all the way to the president. Si ni kweli namna hiyo? So, His Excellency the President, let me repeat, I think now it is about the 9th time, I've lost count, is dead serious in this war against corruption. His Excellency the President, who is Commander-in-Chief, is dead serious about this war against corruption. And there are no other best people that will support him other than you. We want to see a good example from you. We want to see action that starts now. We want to see through the IG perhaps to order a plan on how series of meetings will be held, series of action plans will be generated. We want to see action. We don't want to see again this bribery along the roadblocks, nor these policemen in pikipikis getting money from people. They got from me one time also. But he really begged, then I gave him, because when he realized that I was a very senior officer, akasema pana nilikuwa tu baridi. Then nikasema, but he was taking me to the side, and I was driving myself alone. I drove, I went, he stopped me, pikipiki, pele, anataka mimi nikuaruze pikipiki yake, nikasimama, nikaenda kando, akakuja. Fungua dirisha. I rolled it down. I didn't want to see him directly, I just saw the other side. He said, ujui umefanya makosa wewe? Kaambia Sami. Akatumia hiyo lugha mnajua. So nikamwambia sasa mimi sina. Akasema wewe police station Kilimani. Pia unisamee. Akasema hakuna kusamea hapa. Nyinyi ni watu mnatusumbua hapa. So I turned, I told him, I'm so and so. He said, mimi sikuwa nasema hiyo, nilikuwa nasema baridi iko mingi, unaona sasa baridi imejaa. Sasa unajua sio eti sikuwa najua, sikujua, nilikuwa nakujua, lakini unajua ni baridi iko mingi. Sasa unaona hata hii pikipiki It is practical, isn't it? So, yeah. Hapo junction ya. Yeah. Unaitoka roti kiteremka hapo. Kama ambie achunge sana. Kama ni baridi sawa, chukua hiyo 1,000, lakini nitafuta wewe kasi. Akasema hapana, hii sio ongo, ni baridi tu. Hata ukiniona mimi hapa, mimi naenda kukunywa chai saa hii. Simama tu kidogo uone nikiingia Java. So, let me end with a quote from the National Security Intelligence Service Code of Conduct and Ethics that says, public service is a public trust requiring employees to place loyalty to the Constitution, other laws, and ethical principles above their own personal interests. End of quote. Constitution, other laws, and ethical principles. Now, ethical principles, sio ya kuandikwa. You need to be somebody of ethics. That's why you need to be patriotic. You need to be somebody of integrity. You need also to be somebody who, you have your 50,000, you're in a kutosha. Don't look for 1 million, so that we move forward. So let us be people who are loyal to this country. And 99.9%, I know, anybody who is not loyal to this country, who is not patriotic to this country, will not do your job. I'm telling you, it is impossible. What drives you most is loyalty and patriotism. I know that one. That one, I have no doubt about the police service. The kind of work you do requires a lot of patriotism and loyalty. So, those other areas that is almost becoming a runaway evils, let us stop them and let us make it work. So, let us serve with impartiality, with loyalty, with honesty, and objectivity, and to ensuring to maintain public confidence in the integrity of the office. And all of you are up to task. I saw several CVs one time from police officers. I got shocked that we have PhD fellows, we have master's fellows, we have degree fellows, we have specialized courses people. Amongst yourself. Even some are even serving in positions that they would have served even better because of the qualification that they have. So we are not talking to people who don't understand. For sure, I know you are capable, you are trained, and you can turn around this space of corruption within the shortest time possible. In any case, in police force or any other discipline force, it is just a matter of order from the IG, and everything will stop instantly. Let us see that one happening this afternoon. So it is now my pleasure to invite you for a candid engagement with the panelists. We have panelists here, which we want them also to be candid, because we are looking for a solution in this country. We don't want antagonism in this country. We want to close ranks so that we find solutions that will help the government to run the affairs of this country to the benefit of the citizen. So let us have a candid engagement with the panelists and raise any issue that would stand in the way of the fight against corruption in the police service. Asanteni sana, poleni nimesimama muda mrefu, lakini I think it deserves. Asanteni sana, Mungu awabariki.